I've been to competitions for many years, for instance in RoboCup, also in the European Robotics League, and now here. And what we have seen over the years is that there are several impacts. Well, perhaps the most obvious one is education. I mean, we bring teams of master and PhD students, and of course also researchers and professors, full-time researchers, that basically learn to work as a team, learn to work under stress, and to solve problems in a very creative way. And at the same time, this problem is the same for several teams. So it's also a way of benchmarking the result of your research. So for research, this is tremendously important, because if we set the right challenges, and if the teams do it with this research perspective, not just to solve that particular problem, but provide more general solutions, it's also research contributions. And also what we have seen in the past is that there are very many successful cases of technology transfer. I mean, just to mention two that I know relatively well, is the DARPA Grand Challenge. There was the team that won like the second edition was the team that Google acquired to build up an autonomous car. And in RoboCup, there was a very successful team in one of the leagues, actually playing football. And they developed then with their company the robots that Amazon is now using in their warehouses. And actually the team leader, a very well-known professor and researcher, uses to say that what I did here, I learned it from RoboCup. So competitions contribute to all these things. That's why I think they are so impactful. We write the rules in a way that things are really impactful, including for that they can go to the real world. Of course, our scenarios are only realistic. They are not necessarily a real world, right? But they are quite realistic. I mean, if you go to the kitchen of WP2, you have kitchen furniture, you have kitchen objects, we have people, real people. Maybe they act a bit like roboticists, but still they are real humans. So I think that's a step in that direction. And also I think there's something else. When you do research, and I mean, I've done a lot of it, and I value a lot of it, but usually you do it in the labs under controlled conditions, and very often, more or less unfortunately, but that's kind of the typical thing, the robot works once in 5 times, and you take that video and then you show it, and it's very nice. Here, you really have to make it work with everything integrated. It's not just your stuff. And so it's much more realistic, because in a real operation, you need to have it working flawlessly, robustly. And I think that's another virtue of competitions also. I think, well, maybe not so important, but maybe the first obvious one is if you win a competition or you do quite well, you get some fame. and people look at you as capable of doing things and can invite you to do other stuff. That's good. You can publish papers. Some people had doubts about this, but you can, because you develop a lot of things, and even the integration has some science, and it's becoming more and more recognized. There's even an IEEE journal starting on the practical results in robotics, so it's very important. And I mean, I speak for myself, but there are several people that have done this kind of thing, if you look at it the right way. The people, the students you engage into that, they can do case studies in their thesis, masters and PhD. And so they actually can do the thesis around the topics of the competition and of the team where they participate. So I think there's, and of course then some of them can even have a startup and use some of the experience they got there, directly or indirectly, to be better entrepreneurs as well. So I think that's... So one of the things that the project euROBIN was careful about was to design these competitions, the 3 challenges, the 3 leagues that I mentioned before, which are 3 work packages, around topics that currently the EU is valuing. So industrial robots, service robots that cooperate with humans, and aerial robots that can use, for instance, aerial and ground outdoors that can be used, for instance, for disaster scenarios, search and rescue, this kind of stuff. So in that sense, besides everything else I said, the innovation is targeting topics that the European Union considers relevant and more important now. So we could have picked others, but we picked these ones.